Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to another night of racing action here on Race Spec Esports. This is Season 7, Round 13 of the PlayStation Open Tier 2 Championship. As you can see, we are at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, riding on board currently with CN Goat in the Mercedes. Great to have you all along for the ride tonight. I am Kickbutt Kiwi, your commentator for this evening, and very much looking forward to the action that lies ahead of us as we see CN Goat beginning a hot lap. It was a little bit ragged coming through the last couple of corners, but he'll start the lap now, and we'll just ride on board for the time being as he heads through turn 1, and we'll see what kind of lap he can produce. And he's straight into the fence. Coming through turn 2, easy to lose the rear, but not the start at all that CN Goat would want. And it took all of 20 seconds of us closely watching a car for them to end in the barrier. That is not how CN Goat hopes the rest of his night will go, but we will, of course, have to wait and see. Now, looking back at last weekend's results, it was a double race round, or a sprint round in Brazil, and I can see that in the sprint race, Crojag in the Alfa Romeo won the sprint. He's still in the pits at the moment. Second place in the sprint was RS Spitty, who is not actually racing with us tonight, and third place was Seb in the AlphaTauri. Now, Seb is certainly one to keep an eye on tonight because of his place in the championship, but we will get to that shortly. In terms of the overall points taken away from the Brazil round, factoring in the Grand Prix as well, Seb went on to win said Grand Prix, taking away maximum points, and because of his podium in the sprint race, he ended up taking away 31 points from the night's racing overall. His nearest challenger was, interestingly, his teammate Aniup Lloydie, who came away with 19 points. Third place was CN Goat, who is now returning to the pits minus a front wing. And then Crojag came away with the fourth most points, Honest Crook the fifth, and GeForce Server came away with the sixth most points. Now, usually I would just look at the top fives, but GeForce Server is looking decent in the Drivers' Championship standings, so he will be one to keep an eye on also. Now, moving on to those Drivers' Championship standings, they weren't actually updated in the Discord when I had a look earlier, and so I've had to do my own maths, and I do apologise if my maths is not, or are not particularly accurate. I was in the slightly challenged maths group at high school, but then in intermediate I was in the gifted maths group, so you make sense of that one. But anyway, looking at the Drivers' Championship, it is Aniup Lloydie in the AlphaTauri. We'll ride on board with him. He is sitting provisionally in P1 here as well. He leads the Drivers' Championship. We've got 3 rounds to go, including this one. He is on 202 points, and he leads by 21 points from his teammate Seb. Now, Aniup led by 33 points going into Brazil, but Seb, with his excellent weekend last time out, has bridged that gap quite considerably and brought it down to within one night's racing's worth of points. So that is a pretty significant development. So we've got Aniup first, Seb second, and third in the championship is GeForce Server, who we just mentioned before. He is 43 points behind Aniup Lloydie. Then we have GeForce Drow, who had an absolutely diabolical night in Brazil, it has to be said. I didn't actually catch his points tally from Brazil, but I can tell you it was not many. He is approximately 50 points, I would say, behind Aniup. And then 5th in the championship, I believe, is Honest Crook, who likes to sit in the pit lane for extended periods. And no, okay, he's coming out. That's good to see. A little bit earlier than we're perhaps used to from Honest Crook. But he is 54 points behind Aniup. So realistically, those 5, there's a bit of a gap behind them. Those 5 are the ones in contention with, well, 2 rounds to go after this one. Of course, 25 or 26 points, including fastest lap, I believe, on the table each night. And so even this man, Honest Crook, is in contention, being 54 points off the lead. But it has to be said that Aniup Lloydie and his teammate Seb have been the pick of the field thus far this season. The AlphaTauri men have caused massive damage, certainly in the Constructors' Championship, being where they are in the drivers. AlphaTauri sitting on something like 350 points, and I believe that their lead over the nearest rivals, Alfa Romeo, is the best part of 100 points. And so realistically, I think AlphaTauri have all but wrapped up the Constructors' Championship. But the drivers, on the other hand, well, that is still to be determined. So it'll be really, really interesting to see how tonight pans out, of course, given the championship situation that we have. Now we'll have to wait and see whether we can get through a night's streaming without the game crashing, because I think it's happened about 3 or 4 times in a row. Usually happens towards the end of qualifying, or when I get a little bit excited during a good time in the race and the game decides to have a little siesta and I have to reboot the stream. So we'll see if we can make it through. Here's hoping. Now, another point to consider, another noteworthy fact of this weekend, is that we actually have a new driver. He's in the pits at the moment, but Quiet Cake 7 is a new reserve driver in the Open Tier 2 Championship. He's driving for McLaren tonight and sits currently P10. I have to say I don't know anything about his pace. Based on his current time, it may pay to be cautious in our expectations, as he does indeed start to come out of the pit lane. But great to see a new driver on the grid, and a big welcome to Quiet Cake. Will he make a quiet introduction to the series, or will he do what other newbies and reserve drivers as well of the past have done and instantly win? Time will tell. But looking at the standings at the moment, Aniup Lloydie currently leads with a 124.8 by just over 2/10 from Powersight in the Haas. Powersight has shown glimpses of really strong performances this season. Probably hasn't strung it together with the kind of consistency that he would have liked to, but he's a driver who on his day can mix it with the best of them. Third place currently is Vladimir in the Aston Martin, sitting in the pits at the moment, 3/10 off Aniup Lloydie's time. And Seb just lurking there in 4th position. Do not count him out at all. Another one not to count out is certainly Honest Crook. He's something of a mercurial campaigner, is Crook. On his day, very, very hard to beat. But you could argue that his day does not come along as often as it should. A little bit inconsistent, a little bit prone to getting caught up in mischief. And we'll have to just wait and see whether this is one of those weekends where Honest Crook rises to the top, or whether he drops like a stone to the bottom. It tends to be one or the other. Maybe that's a little bit harsh, I'm not sure. As we were yakking away there, Drow, another driver who's struggled a little bit for consistency, but has a lot of pace in him. He does a 124.5, 3/10 clear of Aniup. Now, how far will these times drop? Of course, as we go through qualifying, the margins for improvement will decrease, and we'll get a clearer picture of what times are going to be set, what times are competitive, and who will be setting those times. Looks like Drell might be on an in-lap based on his ERS on his steering wheel. Looks like he's running pretty low, so might just be bringing it back. Certainly not trying to preserve his tyres though. Banging it around the circuit and coming into the pit lane. I'm just taking a bollard with him. As Seb crosses the line, second place for the 124.6. Not quite good enough to usurp Drell, but it's a strong lap, and the AlphaTauri is only ever going to be a matter of time, and they are second and third as we stand. Strong performances thus far from Powersight and Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, a reserve driver who has driven the Red Bulls on a number of occasions this season. He is in the Haas tonight, looking pretty strong, and I think he has a race win to his name as well. At some point in the season, don't have that information directly in front of me. Server. Oh, he might be on a hot lap, but he's run very wide, 2 corners in a row, and I'd be surprised if he hasn't invalidated there. We'll see what he does. I suspect he'll come in the pits, and he does. Oh, just about slows it down. And yeah, we're sort of in a period of quali where there's a bit of a lull. It's sort of that time where cars have done a lap, most of them anyway, and they'll just come into the pits and change tyres and go for one more push, presumably. There are a couple of cars on track. I see a McLaren, which is Quiet Cake. Low on ERS, so probably an in-lap for him. He has improved his time to 126.5, a couple of seconds off provisional pole, but certainly within the range that you'd want to see in this tier, and it looks like he'll be cutting some corners. Mixing it with the rest of the field, which is great to see. Now, I've just noticed El Tonki and Asher have DNF'd. Now, did they crash, or have they done a strategic retirement, or have they been banned from quali for previous bad behaviour? That I do not know. Anyway, Dan the Racer looks like he might be starting a hot lap. So right on board with him coming into turn 1. You want to be touching that curb on the outside and then kissing that apex, not too much on the curb on the outside because it can destabilise the car, and then it's near or complete full throttle through this segment, but easy to lose the rear as we saw with C and Goat earlier on. And then it's this redesigned segment of the track where they've taken out that slightly useless chicane, to be honest. Quite good changes to the circuit, I have to say. It's made it a lot more flowing and quick, which is nice to see. Getting down the end of the straight into the turn 6 and 7 chicane complex. Big braking zone, and low speed, but important that it's tidy so that you get a good exit onto this back straight. DRS open. And it's the long run into the sweeping long left-hander of turn 9. And going for the tight line. It'll look pretty tidy through there, so 1.4 seconds off Drell at the moment. Coming through the final sector, under the bridge, turn 14. Leaving a bit of width on the exit, and it should be close to full throttle, but missing that apex, so not super tidy, and then a very tight line, and then wide as a result. But he goes third. Wow, I thought the lap didn't look particularly flash. Certainly didn't perfect it through a couple of corners, but Dan the Racer goes third, and he's only a tenth, less than a tenth off Drell, and he splits the AlphaTauri, so impressive from Dan. I think that might be his quali done, to be honest, because I don't know he'll have time to go again. What is Drell doing? He might be on a flyer as well. 2 minutes to go in quali. Oh, he goes very wide. Is that... Yep, invalidated. As you can see by the track map going red on the right. He's invalidated, and I think that will be his quali done. ends it in the pit entry as well. Seb's on an outlap, timing it well. Dan is basically done. Possibly the next real lap of note might be Annie Oop, although that's probably a little bit unfair on the likes of Power Sight, who we will ride with at the moment. Lovely little section of the circuit here, braking as he almost turned there, which doesn't happen too often, but it's a real technical test. And using a little bit of the width on the outside, will he nail the apex? He does nail the apex, very tidy. Final corner. On the power, very clean from Power Sight. What can he do? He goes top with a 1:24.543. It looked good, and it was good for Power Sight. P1 with a minute to go. Can anyone beat him? Who's the next likely candidate? Seb's just started a lap down. The race is in. Anup Lloydie. He might just be... The race is retired, not surprising. I think Ghost Rider in the other half. Could Ghost Rider stick it on the front row as well? I don't know what his sector times are doing, but this would be fascinating for a double. Oh, and he's lost the rear end. He just lit it up. He must be running no TC, and he stepped on the throttle. Is that going to compromise someone else? Oh, just about invalidating Aniuk. Coming through. Looks pretty tidy as he completely misses the apex, but he might get away with it. What can he do? Oh, he can do a 1:24.2, 3/10 clear of Power Sight. Can anyone say tier 1? Aniuk Lloydie has possibly blitzed the field unless someone can rustle something up. I think probably the only one who can do it is Seb, but he's got to march. He's got to make up 4/10. Can he do it? Or can he at least stick it on the front row? Coming through the final corner. Nice apex on the power, clean. He can't. No, he didn't improve. He was just under a 10th down. Who else is on the lap? Vladimir, I think, is done. Server's not done. Coming through the final corner. Oh, a little bit deep. He's 9th. What can he do? He can only do 9th. So there we go. That should just about be quali done and dusted. Unless someone is doing a very, very sneaky late lap. Which I don't think they are. So, Aniuk Lloydie on pole position here in Abu Dhabi with a 1:24.2, 3/10 clear of Power Sight in the half. Then it's Drowl in third, Seb K21 in the second AlphaTauri fourth, Dan the Racer fifth, Vladimir P6, Master Jedi P7, no, spoke too soon, Honest Crook, I apologise, sneaks his way in, makes up a few more positions, Honest Crook P7, knocks Jedi down to 8th, then it's Ghost Rider 9th, and G-Force Server down in 10th, G-Force Server may be a little bit out of position, he's third in the championship, we'll start this race in 10th. Almost a second down in Aniup and quali. That's a little bit surprising. Then we've got Bear 2.0, Crowjag after his very good night out in Brazil last week. Then Quiet Cake on his Race Spec debut, P13. Cian Goat, P14. Jace, P15. Glorious Noodle, 16th. Delayed, 17th. And then we've got Al Tonki and Asher rounding out the grid. Not setting times for reasons I might need to catch up with. So, there we have it. B1 Sebastian, B1 for Aniup Lloydie. Asher's in the chat saying he didn't log the steering wheel in. Unlucky. I've just bought myself a steering wheel set up and I'm having a few teething issues with it. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but he's got pace. He should be able to make some progress in the race. Aniup Lloydie looking very, very good in terms of the championship. 21 points clear of really his main rival, Seb. And Seb could only qualify 4th. And so what can Powersight and Drowl do in particular to interfere with this championship battle? We will find out in just a couple of minutes' time. The game has not crashed yet, which is good to see. No sign of my occasional co-commentator tonight, Artie Chengs, which is a little bit of a shame. It's good to have some company. Artie's just had a new addition to the family though, and so he's probably prioritising the little one over commentating a video game, which I kind of understand. I'm willing to let it slide, but yep, you're all stuck with me for now, but that's okay. I'm very much looking forward to this one. Abu Dhabi is an interesting circuit, and we are really at the crunch point of the season now. 3 rounds to go. And how is it going to pan out? Can Aniup Lloydie handle the pressure? He's starting in the best possible position, but then on the other side of things, he's got the most to lose. And his teammate's back there in 4th, so the protection of his teammate is a couple of positions away, or a few positions. And Powersight and Drowl have pace. Now we'll look at what tyres people are on. So, a couple of interesting tyre choices here. Aniup Lloydie, who I think has actually done this before, starts on the hard tyres. The vast majority of the field are on the mediums. Aniup's gone for the hard, so he'll be running long in the first stint and really hoping that there is not an early safety car. That is the risk, really, with that strategy. Going down the field, G-Force Server, after a difficult qualifying session, he starts 10th on the soft tyres, the only one in the field on the softs. He will be one to keep a close eye on, particularly in the early exchanges. And then down the field we've got a few more guys running the hard tyres. CN Goat, Glorious Noodle, and old mate who forgot to connect his wheel, Asher. Tonky down there in P18, that's a little bit out of place for him too, I would suspect. But yeah, this is going to be a challenge for Aniup Lloydie, holding the field back. Particularly the first 5 or so laps, I would think, on those hard tyres, and there's going to be big challenges coming to him from behind, and not least G-Force Server. I think G-Force Server, if he gets a clean start, he could definitely make progress through the pack. The predicted pit stop strategy down the bottom of the screen says 1 or 2 stop. Usually the 1 stop's the way to go, mediums to hards, hards to mediums, but G-Force Server might be trying to prove me wrong there. Seb gets DQ'd. Is everyone on their grid slot alright? Pretty good. No big dramas there. As we get ready to go here in Abu Dhabi, the final car lines up on the grid. Asher at the back. The green flag is being waved in the twilight at Yas Marina. The lights begin to illuminate any second. Bears left the session. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights, and we are go. And it's a drive-through for Latimer. Disaster for the Aston. It's a good start for Aniup Lloydie. Drowl looking to go around the outside of Powersight, and Drowl has taken P2, I think. Seb's maintained P4. As we look down the field, there's an Alpine going for a dive bomb on, is that Honest Crook? I think it is. I've just got rid of the names for a moment because I'm trying to get the clearest view of the pack. There we go. Up the front, Aniup continues to lead, and Drowl is looking a little bit racy here. And in fact, Drowl's moving to the inside. Can he make the... Oh, there's contact! Wheel banging, and that's brought Powersight right into this battle. Drow will have the inside, so I think Drow's going to maintain the lead of this race. Anyub Lloydie struggling, I think, on the hard compound tyres. Seb having a look, so we'll settle down a little bit. There's been mischief at the back. I can see a Ferrari. That must be delayed late, unfortunately. Caught up in some kind of trouble. But sure enough, we thought it might happen, and Anyub's hard tyre choice has possibly cost him a little bit at the start of this one. Very interesting stuff. We'll get the menu back up because I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Much better. So sure enough, G4 Server's made up 4 positions. Well, he's made full use. And look at El Tonki. El Tonki's up to 10th. That is quite extraordinary. Seeing Goat 12. Honest Crook has dropped a number of positions. And at the back of the field, oh, Latimer and Quiet Cake have had to pit. Quiet needs a new wing. Don't know if Latimer did as well. Delays dropped. So, well, we expect drama, and we got it at the start of the Grand Prix. What's our position change looking like? I think Bear 2.0 has rejoined the race in P8, having disconnected briefly, so that's good for him. There we go, there are our early movers. In fact, yeah, Drow's up 2 positions, Server's up 4, number of other gains. El Tonki easily the biggest gainer though with 8. He's been hitting the gym, getting those gains. Where's Noodle a few, and the biggest droppers, Latimer down 12, Quiet 6, almost Crook 7. Big moves. Latimer and Quiet are going to need a safety car really, certainly Quiet Cake to get back into this one. Back to the front of the field. Anyub Lloydie has not let Drow get away. He sets the fastest lap of the race, so he is pacey. No doubt about that. Well, I said that Bear 2.0 rejoined, and I think he might actually not have, to be honest. As someone is... Oh, Drow has bottled it. Oh, no. Drow is spun coming through into turn 3. Lost the rear like we saw C and Goat do. He's around, and all of that early progress from the lead of the race drops down to P8. He's not out of it, but he's lost some serious ground. So Anyub Lloydie resumes the lead. Here we go, Powersight's attacking. Anyub's trying to defend, but Anyub has no response, does he? Oh, almost cutting off Powersight. Powersight will be on the power and have better traction on the mediums. Oh, but Anyub keeps the inside and keeps P1 for now anyway. These are dangerous times for Anyub. Ooh, rear end looking a little bit sketchy. Seb likes to look at this as well. He won't want to take out his teammate. He won't want to get embroiled in any kind of trouble, but I mean, how much of the team dynamic really is there at the moment when Seb is challenging for the driver's title? And Anyub's his biggest rival. Someone spun down the order, and it's Asher, and Asher has, I think, DNF'd. Coming out of turn, what's that, 12? That's a very unusual place to DNF. No sign of a safety car, and I can't see a VSC, so racing continues. DRS, of course, is enabled now, and this might allow Powersight to have a look down the inside of Anyub. He'll go for a dive. Anyub's deep on the brakes. Oh, and defending. But there's a little bit of a cutback, and this will be another really good opportunity for Powersight. DRS will be activated again. Come on, other camera view. There we go. Oh, almost banging tyres around the outside. Can Powersight do it around the outside? No, he can't. Oh, he's not giving it up though. Oh, I think he's going to do it. Incredible racing from these two. Powersight going around the outside, but then he's run deep. And that's given the position straight back to Anyub Lloydie. Amazing stuff. Powersight had the move done, and then he outbraked himself into that tricky turn 12. And that allowed Aniut to go straight back through, and now Seb. Is Seb going to capitalise on that mistake from Powersight, just to get a little bit closer, get in the slipstream and try to make a move, but he's made his own mistake there running deep. Meanwhile, Drowl is making positions, and that is in part because GeForce Server is padding on lap 5 off the softs. Is that just tyre wear? It might be, you know. No wing change. That might be the issue with the soft tyres. We know that they would degrade a lot quicker than the other compounds, but that is a really early stop for GeForce. He made good progress, but he's already had to pit. And I suspect that will be a 2-stop for the Alfa Romeo. Oh, here we go again. I'm getting deja vu. It's like very close to Aniut, but then Aniut's just boosted coming out of turn 7. So he'll be safe from attack on this occasion. Further down the field, looks like Honest Crook has passed Ghost 2.0, aka Bear 2.0. That's for P9, so Bear's just dropping. Glorious gets that position as well, just about. There he goes. I do hope that Bear can rejoin us once he's got his internet or other issues sorted out. So yeah, go. Running on hard fires. So he made good ground early on, I think. He's possibly dropped back a little bit. Oh, yellow flags. What's going on here? Ghost Rider spun. Coming out of the final corner, turn 16, and he's around and he's down to P13. Soon to be P14 when Delayed gets him. Another presumably unforced error there. Ghost Rider sinks all the way down, and he's spun again, and someone else has spun too. Him and Jace have gone for a synchronized spin. And, oh my goodness, 3 drivers have spun in one corner. That's, yep. That's something I've never seen before, except maybe in open lobbies. Anyway, back to the front. The 3-way battle continues. It's a half sandwich. Oh, and Powersight has spun. And I think at this point I need to stop being surprised, because this is just happening all too often. Drivers just losing the rear end, getting on the power too early, and now Powersight needs to let his tyres cool or he's going to go around again. Looks like he's doing that. It's always painful, but you've got to do it. Oh, Powersight. After all of that, maybe just showing a little bit of inexperience, a little bit of ill-discipline. He's not in the top 5 in the championship, and that sort of mistake that costs you. He's got the pace, but maybe the consistency is a little bit of a struggle. Now here's someone who looks like he's having a much better end to the season. Crowjag, he's up 7 positions in this race, and he's all over the back of Drowl for P4 currently. DRS very powerful here at Abu Dhabi. Drow's using all of his battery though. And Crowjag is not. Crowjag being very sensible. Maybe too sensible. You can see the red light flashing at the back of Drow's Aston Martin. And I think what's happening here is Crowjag is just biding his time a little bit. They're both on the medians, but looks like Crowjag's got good pace and he might just be picking his moment here. Now, did you see a bit of a move down the order? I think Cian Goat might have got past somebody, and El Tonki has crashed. El Tonki is out at turn 9. What has happened to El Tonki? Has he crashed on the exit? Where's his car? It's disappeared, but regardless of that, the safety car, the full safety car is on circuit, and particularly, oh, Delay's going to drive through. Particularly for the medium runners, this is really, really good news, because they can pit, I would say, for the hard tyres and go to the end. I'm pretty sure. Where are we? I need tyres. Boom. So who's pitting? A lot of drivers are pitting, almost all down the back end of the field though. And the safety car has not picked up the leaders, so there's going to be a delta. As you can see, Aniuglordi is driving to that delta, certainly not at full speed. And so really there's no, I don't believe, great advantage for the guys down the bottom end of the field who are pitting now, as opposed to the rest of the field who presumably will pit this lap. Now the question is Aniub going to come in now onto probably mediums and then commit to a two-stop? Mediums should not go to the end. Two-stop is a nuisance, but so is staying out and missing out on a cheap pit stop. What's he going to do? Ooh, looked like he was thinking about it. I think the medium guys will come in, so Seb on the mediums does box. Dan the Racer, what's he going to do? Oh, he thought about it and then decides against it. Interesting. Drow. He does pit, so a real divide here. The drivers are a little bit unsure, it seems. Although I say that, pretty much everybody's actually pitting off the mediums and only Dan the Racer is staying out. Hard runners staying out. People service staying out. I think that's sensible. He'll gain a heap of positions out of this one. Now, here's almost Crook got a filter out. He's got cars exiting the pits on his left. Comes out in between Krojag and Jedi. Does he? Oh, yeah. Does he have to let Jedi through? Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Now, I think this has worked out well for the guys who have gone from mediums to hards. So Seb is third currently. He is the lead driver on brand new hard compound Pirelli tyres. Then it's Drow, Krojag, and Honest Crook in that position. Of course, there's plenty still to play out in this race, but Dan the Racer is going to need to pit, of course, as is Aniuglordi. Aniup right up the back end of the safety car saying, "G'day, how are ya?" to the exhaust pipes of that. What was that? Is that a Mercedes safety car? I think it might be. Who's that in the pits? Oh, Dan the Racer is now at pits. So, wow, he's a lap late, isn't he? He's a lap overdue. He should have done it a lap earlier, but he sort of seemed to be indecisive, and now he's done it. It might be better than not having pit at all, but look at how much track position he's now losing, down to 12th. He's quite some way down, so long way to go for Dan the Racer, but that could be in his favour if he's on the right strategy now. And we can be absolutely certain that there are going to be drivers, even at the front of this field, who are going to make mistakes sometime in the next 19 laps that we have remaining. Pretty good discipline from the drivers in terms of penalties thus far. Jace and Delayed are the only ones who have unserved pens, and I suspect they are... Oh no, Delayed's going to drive through. So Jace really needs to pit under safety car to get rid of that at 5 seconds if he can. Delayed on the other hand, well, he'll have to delay his pit, unfortunately. And he'll have to pit under green flag conditions, which is just so costly. I do wonder sometimes whether that that penalty of a drive-through for speeding under safety car is a little bit excessive because you just lose so much. And you might have only sped by half a second, and you lose, what, 10 to 15 at least, coming through the pits. But anyway, safety car preparing to come in, and it's the two AlphaTauris at the front of the field who will lead us away very soon. Mercedes AMG safety car has its lights off. And you're backing up the field and then getting on the power as we go green racing on lap 11 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Pretty well behaved further down the field, delayed serving that awfully painful drive through. Oh, here we go. What's happened here? Seeing Goat's got a poor run coming out of turn 5, and this allowed Glorious Noodle to get all over the back of him. Coming down into turn 6 and 7. Can Noodle make it stick? You go deeper on the brakes. Will they give each other enough room? Or just about. Tell you what, and no, there's contact. That was a little bit naughty from Noodle. I think he ran See and Go deep. And Drow has come from... Where's Drow come from? A little way back. He's now up to P4. G4 Server's up to P6. I do rather lose track of the positions. They just chop and change so much, but I think G4 Server and Drow have done rather well out of that. See and Go was a little bit manhandled, and I think Drow's dive bombed Glorious Noodle into a very unusual place there. That was turn 12, I think. And Drow, I tell you what, he's prone to mistakes, but when he's on it, he is really, really on it. A little bit of a gap forming now between the two AlphaTauris and Drow, but yes, Martin making great progress in that first lap of green flag racing. Uh-oh, did I just see someone? No, someone was losing it. G4 Server now all over the back of Glorious Noodle. Noodle struggling on those old hard tyres, and Server says, I'll be having some of your P4, thank you very much, and he takes it. Down the field there's some kind of antics going on, and Vladimir is facing the wrong way. What is happening here? Oh, hello. Oh, there's an absolute gaggle of cars. Is this going to end well? I doubt it. No, there goes Crowjag. Oh dear. Bear 2.0's Ghost is tearing through the pack. Need to catch my breath after all of that. That was a little bit intense. Try to get himself a pen. He just needs to settle down into a rhythm and be consistent. And not do that. DRS enabled this lap, which is good for Seb. Seb has much newer hard tyres, and you would expect him to be quicker. He should be quicker than Aniu. And he has dropped off a little bit, but he's stayed within that 1 second gap, which is absolutely crucial now that the drag reduction system can come into play. And you can see there the gap's just over 8 tenths, but that is good enough. And so coming down the first back straight, so to speak, and you can see Seb's got that rear wing open, and that gap will drop from 8 tenths down to 7 tenths down to, wow, under 6 tenths. It's worth at least 2 or 3 tenths of a second, and you'll get another portion of it, although he's slightly lost time on traction. As Ghost Rider and Power Sight swabble over P10. The real train of cars further down. We'll keep an eye on that, because it looks like there's, oh my word, that's a lot of cars in a short. Oh my word, Master Jedi trying to go around the outside of Ghost Rider. Can they avoid spinning each other? they can. They're side by side. Oh my word. Uh-oh. Jedi's gone deep. That'll open the door for Ghost Rider, surely. Not quite. Here's a good vantage point on board. Who's that? Power Sight on the battle ahead of him. Honest Crook very close to seeing Goat as well, P7. A lot of battles to keep an eye on here. It's hard to know exactly where to look. Seeing Goat's got a real train behind him. That's, how many cars is that? That's about 8 cars, as you can see on the mini-map in very close proximity. Go down the back straight, on the battery, and on the move is Honest Crook, taking P7 from Ian Goat. Oh, too deep from Ghost Rider, tagged to the back of Jedi. Jedi does not spin, thankfully. We've got yellows. Uh-oh. Who's causing yellows? Not sure. Two halves of trade positions. And Jedi and Jace go just about side by side through turn 9 and 10. Oh! Gee, there's some real speed differentials in here, and it's causing a couple of drivers to hit the brakes very, very hard to avoid a collision, and it's so easy in this game and online to just tag a car, even gently. Very honest mistake, and you just send them spinning. Oh, there's a mistake from Master Jedi, and that allows Jace to have a run. Can Jedi respond? No, he can't. Jace makes his stick. P9 for the McLaren. Power Sight now wants a little bit of Master Jedi action of his own. Oh, that his teammates kind of thwarting his efforts here to have a go at the Williams. Ghost Rider feeling very racy. Oh. Who's that? Hang on, that's Vladimir. Where's Vladimir come from? Well, he's come from P13. Back to P13 he goes, but I don't think he's done here. Oh, a little bit wriggly on the exit of turn 7, and that'll cost him. But he's all over that battery as, oh, Power Sight and Jedi banging wheels. Oh, this is exciting racing. Great to watch. A little bit nerve-wracking. Oh, that's a dangerous place to go down the inside, and wisely Power Sight backs out of it. Seeing Goat Train getting very, very feisty. Look at the gaps. Server's coming to the... Nice server in the pits again. Well, his mediums are old, okay, he probably needs more mediums, but he's got a 5-second speeding pen. That's suboptimal.